Hello, 大家好. I guess I'm live right now. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me well. And I'm actually 4 minutes earlier than the scheduled time. So if you can see me right now, please let me know. And I can see that there are 4 people on live right now. Okay. So let me just check my phone if I can see myself. Okay. Sometimes I'm kind of worried about the technology. So I'm just, yeah. I have to make sure. Oops. Okay. I just want to make sure if I'm live right now. Hello, 大家好. I guess you guys can see me now. Okay. So, if you can see me and hear me well, please let me know in the chat. I really need to know. Okay. Hi from Dongbei. You're so cool. Okay. 谢谢. Hello, 大家好. So also let me know where are you from watching this live right now and you're left in your head. This is actually a very good question from one of my followers on Instagram. And he DM'd me, one of the followers on Instagram, he DM'd me how to stop translating that. Okay, from New Zealand, 大家好. Okay, so before we officially get started, you can also let me know what do you do and how do you do to stop yourself translating from your mother language, from your language to Mandarin. Okay, also let me know in the chat. I would love to know what's your strategy. Okay, what do you do to stop this? Okay, and I'm going to share you some of my tips and going to share you some of my suggestions for you guys. Okay, then for now, just say hi and wait for some people here. 在台湾我们说纽西兰 but I understand. Okay, 然后 yes, okay, New Zealand. 新西兰、纽西兰，还有哪里来的呢？从英国来的。Okay, share with you. 你们都听得到我吗？ You guys all can hear me? 你们都听得到吗？ Okay, I just need to make sure if you guys can hear me or see me well. And actually, I have to see my phone right now. All right. Yes, I have to monitor, the stuff here. Okay, see if I can see your text from my phone. Alright, 好，我们现在可以开始了哈。来，我看一下你们是哪里人呐？OK， 马来西亚有马来西亚的，很好，有英国的，有纽西兰的，有东北来的。大家好，晚安。那今天呢，我们要说的是 Today we're going to talk about how to stop translating, okay, in your head. And also, please share me your tips. How do you stop translating from and to Mandarin? 中文的 How do you get used to listening to Mandarin Chinese and not to translate in your head? Okay, 可以告诉我在这里。Okay, let me know in the chat. Okay, I would love to hear from you. But 现在可以告诉我 Are you guys ready now? 你们已经准备好了吗 Because I would like to share my thoughts, okay? Some tips with you guys, okay? Let me know if you are ready. 告诉我们你们准备好了吗 Okay. Using sentence and which don't translate, but with complex sentence, it takes, 答对了，非常好，谢谢你。所以比较复杂的句子with more complex sentences, I guess, of course, you kind of need to get used to it and maybe you do a little bit yes, okay. 非常好 Thank you for sharing. Okay. In those cases, okay. 好，还有其他人吗？也可以告诉我你们是怎么样学中文的 How do you learn Mandarin Chinese? 你们是怎么学中文的？好，现在我们就开始吧。Let me tell you what I think first, and then I will see your text. I will see your comment later. Okay. 好，然后呢，我们现在开始吧。If you're ready, let me know in the chat and say ready. Okay. 那我也要 I also need to. Okay, I think you can see me and see my PDF file now. Okay. 我觉得你们现在大家都说 ready 了。我看到有人说 Okay. Christina say ready. Okay. Jessica 说你们好，大家好。那我们现在开始咯。How to stop translating in your head from and to Mandarin Chinese. There's some tips. 第一个呢是 this is from my own experience learning English when I was in middle school and high school and college. So this is what I did for English, learning English. And now this is also what I do for learning German. Okay, 第一个是 listen to the material that is close to your level over and over again. So this is what I do to train my listening. When my listening was not very good when I was younger, when I was in middle school in English, I would just choose one material, 就是一个. I would just choose one material and listen to the material over and over again until that I can get it 90% or 80%. And then I switch to the next material. Because at first, when you listen to the material, you don't understand everything. 你不会全部都懂. You don't understand everything. Therefore, first, you have to get used to the sound of your target language. 第一个, you have to get used to the sound of the target language. And then listen to the material again and again to catch some more phrases and vocabulary in the material that you're listening to, right? So this is what I do, okay, to listen to the material. And the question is, what material you should choose? I would say to choose the material that is close to your level, but a little bit challenging, and you can choose maybe level 2, okay, listening material, or level 1 listening material. But remember to choose the material that can challenge a little bit of your listening, okay? Otherwise, it will frustrate you, okay? So remember, not too difficult, but a little bit challenging to you. Are you guys doing the same thing? Please let me know in the chat. Are you currently listening to some material that train your listening, that stop you from translating from your mother tongue in Mandarin to Mandarin? Let me know in the chat, okay? Do you do the same thing right now? 有没有人现在也是这么做的? Okay. Yes, listening to the radio. 对, you can listen to the radio. There are some good material that you can listen to. For example, the radio or podcasts, okay? Because if you have Spotify, you can search Smart Mandarin on Spotify. I have Spotify lessons. I have Chinese lessons on Spotify, which you can listen to when you're driving, or you can listen to other teachers, any materials on Spotify. Listen to the podcast and listen to the CDs in your, I don't know, your notebook or your textbook. Listen to the CD, or maybe listen to the TV, okay, or Chinese songs, okay. Those material that can train your listening, and you can get used to the sound of Mandarin Chinese. So let me know, are you currently listening to any material that train your listening and also make you get used to the sound of Mandarin Chinese, okay? And what material you're listening to, okay? Also, you can also watch the TV series, okay? Some Chinese drama that can also boost your listening, and you get used to the sound of Mandarin Chinese. And the thing about listening to TV, and listening to dramas is that you have to stick with only one. Do not be too greedy. Don't be too greedy, like, oh, I want to watch 5 different movie, or 5 or 10 different TV series. That doesn't work. Just stick with 1 or 2. When I was in middle school, I was watching Friends, okay, a very classic comedy show and series. And when I was remember when I was 16, I was watching Friends to learn English, but I didn't understand a lot. So I listened to just that one TV series, or just one episode, just one episode over and over and over and over again until I feel like, oh, I can understand more than 80%, more than 90% of that show, which, by the way, is the thing I suggest you to do it with learning Mandarin. Seriously, you cannot be greedy listening to so many material that will mix you up, that you just like kind of mix out, oh, what do I learn now? No, just choose one or two material and stick with it and listen to that over and over again. When you train your listening, when you improve your listening, then you will have a much lower chance to translate in your brain. Does that make any sense? Let me know in the comment. Okay, let me know in the comment if that makes sense to you, okay? Or if you're currently doing the listening comprehension training and what do you listen, please let me know in the comment. I will see the chat later. Okay, 好，第二个 number 2. Oh, this is a good one. I also do that when I'm learning a foreign language, and you can use that same method when you are learning Mandarin right now. Number 2 beginner is the native speaker will ask you questions. They seem like very random question like, 哎，你吃饱了吗？你叫什么名字？你是哪里人？哎，你叫什么名字？ or 你姓什么？你多大？你今年几岁？ Those common questions that native speakers will definitely ask you. Please prepare the answer for yourself first. Prepare some default answers to those common questions. If you have those answers prepared, you don't need to translate in your head. Of course, first, you need to prepare the answer. And second, you need to practice. Okay, say for example, if someone asks you, 你叫什么名字? You need to prepare. 哦，我叫 XYZ. Or 你今年多大? How old are you? Or 你今年几岁? Oh, 我28岁, for example. You need to prepare that, okay? And or 你是哪里人？你从哪里来？你是哪国人？ They are all similar questions you need to prepare. And then you need to know what are you going to say? What are you going to answer when people ask you the same question? Okay, 你好吗？你今天怎么样？你最近好吗？你最近怎么样？吃饱了吗？ Those are very common questions that native speaker will ask you. So the best thing is to prepare some default answers so you don't translate in your head. And the more, I think the better your Mandarin gets, when your Mandarin is improving, the more default answers to the common questions that you can prepare. So not only you have to prepare some default answers to some common questions, but also you need to improve your Mandarin Chinese at the same time so you can extend the conversations with the native speakers. Okay, so that is my second suggestion, second tip for you guys. Please let me know if you're doing this right now. Okay, if you are preparing any default answers to some common questions of Mandarin Chinese, let me know in the comment now. Okay, 你们有准备一些问题的答案吗？有一些比较常用的问题，你们必须准备答案。Okay, so, okay, let me know. Okay, 好。And this is number 2. Okay, I will see your text and I will see you share what you think, what you do to stop translating. Okay, your tips later. 第三个 number 3. Okay, let's see. Question here. 第四个 sorry. Instead of asking, how do I say? You ask, is it correct if I say da 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 like this? Okay, this tip is actually the idea coming from so many people. A lot of you guys DM me on Instagram or Facebook or the comment section. A lot of people ask me, Katrina, how do I say this in Mandarin? How do I translate this in Mandarin? I know that there are a lot of people want to know how to say certain sentences or certain things in Mandarin Chinese. But I think the better way, instead of asking your teacher, your Mandarin teacher, I think a better way to ask them is you try it yourself first. I just realized that a lot of people they don't even try by themselves first. They just decide, okay, here is a list. Please translate this in Mandarin for me. To me, as a Mandarin teacher, I feel this is the most inefficient way to learn Mandarin Chinese because you don't use your brain first. You don't think, how do I do this first? The best way to learn Mandarin and stop translating is you do the practice yourself first. This is your question. You need to think how to say these, how to say the things you want in Mandarin first, instead of handing your teacher some English and say, please translate this for me. And then we just hand in the answer to you. That's not efficient for a student because you are just copying our answer. But the thing is, for a student, what you need to do is you have to use your brain. You have to think first. You have to think, oh, how do I say this in Mandarin? Once you use your brain, once you practice by yourself, and then you give your translation, you give your Mandarin to the teacher, and then the teacher can correct your sentence. That way, you know where you made mistake, where you need to improve. And then you learn even more by just giving your teacher sentences in Mandarin and want him or her to translate that for you. Because remember, your teacher is not your Google translation. If you want someone to translate that Mandarin for you, you just go to Google Translation, right? A teacher's job is to guide you to improve your Mandarin and to guide you, teach you how to make your own sentences, not to hand in the answer for you every time you ask how improved. And then the more you practice, the more you get used to speaking and making sentences in Mandarin Chinese, and the less you translate in your head. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, let me know if that makes sense to you. 看影片是最好学习方法. I'll see you in the chat later. Okay, so I need to concentrate on my PDF file right now. But okay, I will see every of your comment later. Okay, so let me know if you are doing this practice on your side, okay, for yourself. Like if you, this is what I learned my English when I was younger, because although I had English teacher when I was in middle school and high school, I know I couldn't bother my teacher for every sentence I want to say in English. So this is what I do. I would write down, I would think, how do I say this in English in my target language? I would think first. And I would try to translate by myself instead of asking the teacher, how do you say that in English? How do you say that in English? I translate in my head first, and then I will write down later. And then I will ask the teacher to correct my sentence for me. And this is exactly I asked my program student to do. And then my program students, some of my program students, core student, they do this almost every day. They make their own sentences almost every day. I check their sentence and see if they have any mistake. If I see the mistake, I will tell them, oh, you need to improve this. You need to improve that. It is better if you say this. So I cannot remember. I don't remember I have any program student give me a list of English wanting me to translate for them in Mandarin. None of my program students, none of my course students asked me to do this because they know that they had to practice by themselves first. Only they practice by themselves first, they can improve. And I will tell them, oh, you made a mistake here, so you need to switch your sentence into yada yada yada. That is how I train my program and course. Also do the same for yourself. Okay, use your brain to do the practice for yourself. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, if that doesn't, please share with everybody. Please share with me in the comment. Then what do you do? Okay, so yeah, so practice by yourself. I think this is very important. And then the more you practice, the more you get used to the language. Trust me. And you have to listen to the material over and over again. Remember, we just mentioned previously. Okay, so the like if I want to say something, I want to express something, I would think, how do I say that in German? How do I say that in English when I was in middle school? Like maybe I would imagine, okay, this is what also you can do, okay, to prepare yourself next time when you see a native speaker of Mandarin Chinese. And this is what you can do, to prepare yourself. Like you can imagine a scenario in your head, like I want to say this Chinese friend. If I talk to a Taiwanese friend, how do I say that? Say for example, you read a book and you really like this book and you would love to recommend this book to your Chinese friend. Okay, so you have the scenario. Now think, how would you say in Mandarin? How would you say express yourself in Mandarin to recommend this book that you like to a Chinese friend? So this is what I do when I was learning my target language. Obviously, your target language right now is Mandarin. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So think about how would you express something in a certain scenario. You picture a certain scenario, you try to talk to yourself. You know, don't care. You don't have to care about if you make a mistake or not. Once you try to think how to say something in Mandarin in a scenario that you imagine, you will realize, oh, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say that. Let me look at the dictionary. Let me check the dictionary. How can I say this? So this is really good for you to improve your Mandarin Chinese, especially your speaking. And by, if you practice this more and more, you get less and less translating in your head on the spot when you really are talking to a native speaker of Mandarin Chinese. Also, let me know if this tip is helpful, if that makes sense to you. And also let me know if you do this practice. Have you ever have you ever imagined a scenario in your head? Have you ever done that? Imagine a scenario in your head and just try to practice how to express yourself in Mandarin Chinese. Let me know. Okay, this is the next tip. And okay, the next one is also very helpful. Okay, learn how to use a word, a grammar, instead of learning a word alone. Okay, what do I mean by that? For example, I will give you one example. Okay, 见面 JIAN four tone, MIAN four tone, 见面 meaning to meet. Okay, 见面. So if you learn this word alone, 见面 meaning to meet, you will likely to make this mistake when you make a sentence in Mandarin. 我见面他. A lot of foreigners would say 我见面他. I meet him. 见面他 I hear a lot of foreigners make this mistake because they only see the word and then the English translation. So they think, oh yeah, I can say it like that. 我见面他 No, you don't say it like that. We don't use 见面 like that. If you have learned the whole phrase correctly, you will know that is 我跟他见面. So that is 跟 somebody 见面. So 我跟他见面 instead of 我见面他. Okay, so this tip is to tell you that when you learn a word, you have to learn how to make a sentence, how to use the word, how to make sentence of the word. And when you learn grammar of Mandarin Chinese, you don't just learn grammar. You need to learn how to use the grammar instead of learning the grammar alone. Okay? So when you know how to use the word, the grammar, you make a lot of sentences. When you make a lot of sentences, you read the sentences aloud. When you read the sentences that you make aloud, you hear yourself. So you are practicing, you are literally practicing, you're listening and you're speaking all at the same time. Okay, this is exactly what I was doing for myself when I was in middle school learning English. Okay, so yeah. And when I was in middle school, and then I read my example aloud. And so I can hear myself. And I can improve my listening. So next time, if I hear a native speaker say the same word, the same vocabulary, my ear knows that, oh, that's the word that I just learned, because I read that aloud and I listen to myself over and over again, or I listen to the CD over and over again. So my ears are so familiar with the sound of the new a lot, because I have a lot of practices for my ears and my pronunciation and making the sentences by myself. All right. So let me know if that helps you. And also let me know that if you're doing the same thing to help yourself. 就是你们看你们有没有做一样的事情。对对对。And yes, I see that a question here. I just see the question here. How do I know if I'm making the correct sentence or not? Yes, I say it's important to practice, with yourself. But how do you know you're making a correct sentence or not? That is why you need a teacher that you can rely on. So like in my program student can always rely on me, because if they make sentences, they always, well, actually I have few students, they make Chinese sentences every single day, and then they send sentences in the program. They can just leave their sentences in the comment of my program video, and I check their sentences every day. That's how they improve. So in your case, if you have a teacher right now, you need to give your teacher the sentence that you made, so the teacher can check that for you. So you need someone to check that for you, not just a random native speaker. Yeah, of course, you can find a language exchange and to ask your Chinese friend, your Taiwanese friend to check the sentence for you. But because let's be honest, you don't pay your friends. You can't bother your friend all the time and say, hey, can you please check the sentence for me? I don't think that's fair for your friend, your Chinese friend, right? Unless you have some exchange. For example, your friend wants to learn your language and you want to learn their language. Then maybe you can bother your Chinese friend over and over again to check your sentence. Otherwise, you need a teacher that you can rely on that can do this for you anytime that you are making sentences, and if you want to know if that sentence is correct. And in my students' case, the course is a lifetime, so they can make sentences anytime they want. They just leave that under in the comment under my video lesson, so I check that for them. So I don't know in your situations there, maybe you have a teacher already and you can, ask your teacher to check that for you, okay? And the thing is, it's good that you have a language exchange. This is also another tip for you, that if you want to practice your listening, stop translating, is to make a Chinese friend or a Taiwanese friend, a native Mandarin speaking friend. This is also a very good tip. But one drawback, one flaws of this tip is that your Mandarin friend, your native speaker friend, they are not a professional Mandarin teacher. So if you make a sentence and then your Chinese friends say, "Oh, this is incorrect, this is wrong, we don't say that," and then you ask your friend, why you don't say that, why is this wrong, and your native speaker friend will say, "Well, it's just wrong, that's just the way we say it, no why, no reason." You will often get this answer from your native speaker's friend, because they cannot explain you native speakers. They don't know how to teach you grammar. So in this case, if you find yourself asking your Chinese friend why, but your Chinese friend always answer you, well, that's just the way we say it, there's no reason, and then you get frustrated. That's a really big, sign that you need a reliable and a professional teacher that can really check your sentence, can really get you improve your Mandarin Chinese. So here are some tips for you, okay? I hope that's helpful, okay? So to find a professional teacher. And next tip number 7 or 6, repeat after native speakers. Have you ever heard of a method called like a echo method? Like when you're learning a target language, a foreign language, you can use echo method. I was using this method when I was in high school, middle school, but I didn't know that it's called echo method. You don't repeat instantly. You need to do this. Okay, for example, if I say a sentence, 这是谁的? Now you listen to the sentence from a native speaker, me. 这是谁的? 这是谁的? Now you listen and then you say it aloud. 这是谁的? And copy and imitate what I say just previously. Okay? Or for another example, 这杯茶很好喝. I just say the sentence. 这杯茶很好喝. Now pause. Okay. And then you say it. 这杯茶很好喝. So by using this method, by repeating after the native speaker again and again, not only you can remember the tones and sound from the native speaker, and you think again one time in your brain and then you say it. So you have different processing. First, you listen carefully. So that trains your copy what I say and imitate what I say. So you have different processing in your brain, and that will improve your listening, your speaking, and how you may improve that the ability to make sentences of Mandarin Chinese. Okay, let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, so repeat after the native speaker. And this is also my own experience. Like whenever somebody correct my German, or whenever somebody correct my English, I will repeat what they say. I will repeat their correction in my head, and I say it like few seconds later. Okay, so if somebody say, "Oh, you don't say 我见面他, you say 我跟他见面," and it's like 我跟他见面, 跟他见面. Oh, 我跟他见面. So this is what you do. Receive what people correct you. Okay, listen to what your native speaker friend or your teacher correct you, you see to think one time, at least one time in your head, 我跟他见面, and then you say it aloud, 我跟他见面. So that's another way you can repeat after the native speaker. Okay. And number 8, I just mentioned practice or to use new words as much as possible. Okay. So again, you have to practice what you've learned, the phrases, the words, and try to paraphrase the new phrases, the new structure that you learn. Okay, this is what I've been teaching my students here on YouTube channel. And also, I teach the same method, my IGTV, Instagram mini lesson, and also my program, my courses. So you can do the same method for yourself. Practice the new word. For example, let's use the same structure. 我跟他见面. So 跟 somebody 见面. So you can paraphrase 我跟朋友见面，他跟他的女朋友见面。So you can switch the subjects, right? You can do the same with different grammars, with different structures. So now let's do the recap. The tips that can improve your Mandarin Chinese and also can stop you from translating from and to Mandarin. So this one, practice the new words and grammar as much as possible. And number 7, repeat after the native speaker. So you listen, you think, and you repeat that out loud. Number 5 is to think how to express yourself in Mandarin. So you need to imagine a scenario and think, how do I say this in Mandarin next time when I see a Chinese friend? And number 4 is, instead of asking, how do I say this? Instead of asking your teacher to translate that for you, translate whatever you want for you, please use your brain. Please just do the practice. It is your work. You are the person who wants to learn Mandarin Chinese. You need to do the work. If you don't do the work, nobody can help you. So please do the translation, do the practice. Just, do not do this. You don't even try and you ask your teacher to give you the answer. That's not good for you or to the teacher. And the next one is prepare some default answer to the common question. This one is so good for especially beginners, because beginners are really slow reaction with the questions that they being asked. If people ask them, 你今年多大? 你今年几岁? Most beginners were like, I don't know. So prepare some default answer. Okay. And next one is listen to the material that is a little bit challenging, that is close to your level over and over again until you feel like, oh, I can understand 90% of the material. Again, if you want to know that if you're making a correct sentence, you need a good guidance. Go for your teacher to correct your sentence. And if you don't have a teacher at the moment, you can consider my program right here. This is the website, smartmandarinteachable.com. I will also put that information in the info box, description box. So this is all my courses. I think most of you know that. So I encourage all of my program students to practice their Mandarin. So for example, my absolute beginners course, if you're a total beginner, you can definitely click one of the courses here and scroll down. You can see the whole curriculum. And in each video lesson, students are all encouraged to make their sentences below the video lesson. So I check their sentences every day. For example, each course, I have the vocabulary training for my student. So the student can really watch the video lesson and ask questions. This is locked because I haven't logged in. So they can watch the video lesson and make their sentences. I will check if their sentence is correct. So this is what I do every single day for my core student, for my program student. So if you're interested to become my student, just take a look at my website. And if you have a teacher or a program that you trust already, go for it. Take the advice that you listen from me today, do the practice, and ask your teacher to, correct your sentence, correct your grammar, correct your vocabulary, everything to improve your Mandarin Chinese so you can stop translating in your head. And even better, if you have a teacher or you have, I don't know, the school that can offer you something like this. This is what I do for my student. My program student, they had this group that I live with them like almost every week. I give them extra, give you the opportunity to meet other people around the world, practice Mandarin together. Go for it. If you don't, and I really welcome you to join the program if you want to. And I will put all the link in the description. And if you find this live stream helpful, you can share and hit the like to this live stream. Let me see the text right now. Okay, frozen screen. Okay, so let me just come back. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So now I'm back. Okay, so oh yeah, that was frozen. Okay, so I'm back. So if you find the tips helpful, you can just try to implement the tip that I give you. And if you're interested to become my student, to become part of Smart Mandarin Student, I will put all the links down below. The screen is kind of frozen because maybe because of the internet or because of my computer is getting slow. And I will read all your comment later and reply to all of you later. And thank you so much for being here. And I will see you next time. 再见。